Hello everyone, this is Dana Talberg, and to round out our Lee Koro builds, we're looking at Umarak, the Hunter. So, basically, the reason he's like this, because although I do love the original set, and I also love the Umarak the Destroyer set, um, he's built like this because I used those sets and some other sets to make the Journey to One Makuta model, which um, I haven't decided on whether or not that model will be a part of my story or not. I kind of like my original Makuta Pterodax model, but I could see my Journey to One Makuta being like Makuta whatever, like Makuta Miserix or something. I don't know. I haven't decided. But this is Umarak. Um, And the reason he is built less standardly is, and more like Umarak the Destroyer's kind of build, is because I was messing around with the sets before I got the Lord of Skull Spiders, which was the last set I needed to make the combination model. And I had done a thing where I swapped Umarak the Hunter's limbs with Umarak the Destroyer's limbs, and I thought it looked really cool. So when I went to rebuild Umarak, using the parts that I had left over, I decided that I would make him this way. I also gave him yellow eyes and uh, green eyes instead of red eyes. I just wanted to make sure I got at least one build in, confirming the idea that eye color does not determine a character's morality, because I did go back and use this Umarak's eyes on my Tahu mock to give Tahu his red eyes from Tahu Mata. So for his build, he does have the swivel torso, but the way I positioned armor is specifically to lock it in from swiveling. He's got ball jointed hips, hinge jointed knees, ball jointed ankles, ball jointed shoulder, hinge jointed elbow, ball jointed hand, ball joint at the base of the neck, and ball joint right underneath the head. And then on his back, he has this piece which is able to swivel. And what this piece is this is a mounting point for the bow if you don't want him to be holding that. But you can see I kind of positioned these armor plates to try and lock up this rotating waist joint, because I do like that gimmick. I felt that it didn't really fit with a figure this big to be able to just rotate their hips like crazy like that. I wanted him to be sturdy, so I did that. And the horns do kind of make it a bit easy to pop off the mask if this were a official, made out of official parts. But my Makuta, I bought specifically bootleg sets to make it because the official sets were going for insane prices on Bricklink. Even if I parted them out, they were going for insane prices. So I got bootlegs. And I mean, the bone pieces are kind of hit or miss on these bootlegs, but the armor shells are always about as accurate. And then also the melding on the masks usually is a bit weird, but Umarak's turned out pretty nice. So that about does it for my Umarak the Hunter build. Basically, my idea is he's a creation of Makuta. Well, not a creation of Makuta. He's a dark hunter who left the order when he found out about Makuta's plan to take over the Great Spirit. So he got modified by Makuta. But unlike the original story where the modifications are against his own will, in this story, he willingly accepts those modifications. Therefore, keeping him looking somewhat like the original Umarak set, while still being like this bigger character. So I like to imagine he sort of is like he stalks the jungles of Lee Koro, and some of the Matoran aren't even sure he exists or not. But whenever a Matoran gets disappeared, a lot of the Matorans start to think, "Oh no, it's Umarak," and stuff like that. So that's sort of my lore for him. I'll probably expand upon it at a later date when I have things more ironed out in my head. But that about does it for Umarak the Hunter. Um, I did do a revamp of Umarak the Destroyer, but in my story, it's not actually Umarak. He's a separate character, and his name is not going to be Umarak the Destroyer. He's also not going to be included in this first batch of videos because I consider him to be a Toa Nuva sort of villain rather than a Toa Mata and stuff like that villain. So he won't show up until the next big video project wave of videos. So that does it for Umarak the Hunter. Tune in next week for a skull villain. Bye.